All right, so what I want to do now is we're going to go in, I got a second speaker hooked up now, and I'm going to show you how I do this at an event. Now, this is good for a couple different scenarios. One, if you're doing wireless speakers, fill speakers, or aux fed subs. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here now. I see that we have music coming in. So I'm going to go ahead and mute those. So we got over here. So that is music coming in through the mains. Go back in your channel, see we have the wireless up here, wireless up there, and then we also have through our wireless. So I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna mute the mains. And now over here, you can see that it's coming through aux 1, where we have our wireless speaker set up, or in this case, I'm having it wired. And this is good for fill speakers. Now, this is what's going to happen. Let's go ahead and we're going to go in here and we're going to change the wireless from post fader to, let's go to pre fader, and it's going to ignore pretty much everything that we've done as far as volumes. So it's going to be a lot louder than normal. So let's go ahead and bring the music up. So now we got the through here. We're still going to bring this up, this wireless volume all the way up. Now, when we're going to go back here, we're going to turn up the volume. So let me explain first before I bring it up, and then you guys can hear the difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up the volume. And I'm going to bring up the volume for the speaker over here, which is our mains. And then I'm also going to bring up the volume for the speaker on this side over here, which is going to be our wireless speaker. You're going to notice when I bring down the main sound, you're still going to have volume going through the other speaker. So even though the fader is all the way down, we still have sound coming out here. So let's bring this up. So now I'm gonna go ahead and bring the master down. Still have sound over here. Bring this down. Still have sound coming out of this, even though we brought this all down. So to control that volume, you'll have to go here. So depending on the different situations, you might want to set it up a little bit different. So I'm gonna go in here, set it up, go into the wireless, and instead of pre-fader, let's go in here to post-fader. Both these set to post-fader. Now, when I bring up the different levels, so I'll usually set the mains at 0, and then depending on what I want to do with the wireless, I'll usually set this at -10, so that way it's at a quieter volume. Now when I bring up the fader 5 and 6, which is our DDJ, bring down that. So now we can control those volumes depending on what we're doing. Usually I like to just be on channel 5 and 6 to bring down the music. Same thing with the microphone, so that way I don't have to worry about bringing them down together, muting them together. You can also put this on a DCA if you want to control it that way. Really just depends on what you're doing. But my workflow, put everything on post fader. So now what I want to do is show you how I like to set this up if I'm doing aux fed subs. First, what we want to do is we want to go into the mains, and so we're going to send the music and the microphones through the mains, because the mains doesn't need a lot of bass, and so the microphones, we don't need any low end. That's why we're going to send the microphones. So I'm going to go to the master or the mains, go in here, we're going to take the low frequency, and I'm going to sweep this down to probably about 200, 300, somewhere in there is a good start. All speakers are crossed over a little bit different, but that's usually where is a good starting point for me. So let's go ahead and bring this up now. So we're gonna only hear from the mains. Yeah, that's what people say. So you notice we don't have any low end. So what we need to do now, I'm gonna power down the speakers, and then we're gonna swap this to aux 2, and then I'll power those back on. All right, so let's go ahead and bring this up. So now we have our highs coming out over here, and now we're gonna have our lows coming out on the other side. So what we're gonna do is now, what we need to do is we have sound coming out of our wireless from before, but let's get a signal coming out of our subs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back in, we're gonna click on subs, and let's go ahead and go to post fader. We're on bus 2. Now we have that signal coming in there. And then also On these here, you can also set a compressor on these two as well if you want them to be a little bit different depending on the profile and the sound that you want. So now I'm gonna go in here. So we have this coming in. So now I'm going to go into the sub. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna knock all these frequencies down here. So that way we're getting just purely the low end. Now I just have a normal PA speaker, so nothing like a sub or anything. But let's go ahead and bring that up. So if I bring this up, so what we have here is we have the low frequencies. Now, if I was using a proper sub to be able to demonstrate this, you're just going to hear that low end, and then with the highs are going to be coming in through the main. So there you go. So now you have them, split up properly, so that way all the low frequencies go into the sub, and then all your high frequencies is going to your high. So a lot of times when I'm doing events, I'll be running a line array system with some dual subs, and this is usually how I like to set this up to get that clean sound. Take my microphones, only send them into my highs, and then the music I can send to both of those. And then what I can do at an event, so let's say I get to an event and I want to be able to EQ the sound of my particular speaker on the high end, I'll do that through the main EQ, and then for the sub I'll be able to EQ that. And then throughout the night there's a lot of times where I'll have my highs at a certain level, and then I'll add a little bit more bass as the night goes on, and I'm really able to control the sound of, like, besides turning the volume up or down, how much bass I want to send. So a lot of times I want to pull out a little bit of bass, and this will give me that independent control, and this is called aux fed subs.